It is Friday, and big things going on here on the Taking Vegas podcast. Going to get you a bunch of free picks here for the weekend. 3 for Saturday, 3 for Sunday. Going to tell you all about Richie Tulo's monster insider information going this weekend in football. And we have a huge, and I mean huge total, off the big winner last week under Memphis, Mississippi State. So, guys, this is a special weekend right now. Good to be with everyone. I'm Chris Hodge. I'm joined, as always, by world-class insider Richie Tulo, and this is the Taking Vegas podcast for Friday, September 24th. So, Richie Tulo, good to be with you. Going to do this for about a half hour. We didn't do any podcasts this week. Our producer thought he had COVID, but he didn't, so that was good. Everyone goes crazy when they think they have COVID.
This is crazy. I mean, it's kind of becoming a nuisance. You know what I mean, Chris?
It is becoming a nuisance.
It's a nuisance. I had enough. Folks, I had enough of this crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to go get tested, stay out of the office, all this other shit that goes on. But, it is what it is, and I guess, being the safer side, whatever. It is what it is. Some big action this weekend. Let's go with what happened last night first. Carolina played Houston. App State played Marshall. The App State game, Marshall covers the game. It gets over the total. Very good game. Marshall blew, I believe, a 9-point lead there in the fourth quarter.
They're kind of pretty good at that. They're getting pretty good at that.
They're blowing leads, right? Yeah, they took care of ECU a couple weeks ago. Let them score 21 in the last 7 minutes. I wasn't overly unimpressed with Davis Mills from Houston. I don't think he played a bad game. Let's face facts. Besides Cooks, do they have a lot of talent offensively? The play calling was pretty much dreadful for them, and I don't know if that was because they were trying to protect him or not, but it didn't seem like they were trying to protect him because he was getting hit every time he threw the ball.
He got smashed.
He's a tough SOB, man. He earned my respect last night.
He's a big kid. He's not small. He's a big kid.
Yeah, and that touchdown pass he had was a great read, and they had some other opportunities there in that game, but they just played very conservatively. And look, Carolina's the better team, but, you and I were speaking about it this morning. Sam Darnold.
Pro Bowl.
Gonna stick this up the asses of the New York Jets. Like, just gonna stick it up their ass.
Could you imagine? Nah, I can't. I was just saying. Could you imagine if he got them deep into the playoffs?
Wins the Super Bowl. It can't happen any other way.
No, it can't.
No, let me explain this now. If the Jets are truly cursed, let's say the fairy tale is true, because I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but the fairy tale is Joe Namath sold his soul to the devil and then to win Super Bowl III, and the Jets are never going to win again until that guy's dead, gone, buried, and long forgotten. Now, let's say that's true, and they're really that cursed. The next logical step is their quarterback that they traded up to draft goes on to win a Super Bowl with another organization, year one, when he's away from the Jets.
He was a baby when they they really gave up on him. I think they gave up on him just a little too early.
They didn't do anything to help him.
I mean, he was barely able to shave when he came into the league. But you want to know something, Chris? Listen, think about this. Giselle and Tom Brady break up. Brady goes through a nervous breakdown. Matthew Stafford, even though he is an Iron Man, always seems to get an injury that prolongs for the rest of the year in and year out. He's always beat up. They fall out of the players because I think they're the two favorites.
That's what takes down Brady.
That takes down Brady. Right.
Giselle has to break up with him or divorce him, and that's what takes down Brady. This is what you're telling me?
Well, and then let's say something happens unforeseen to
Aaron Rodgers,
or maybe McVay's girlfriend leaves him, who's the biggest piece of ass around, and he has a nervous breakdown, and he doesn't know how to call a game anymore. Sam Darnold gets into the Super Bowl. Oh, my
but what about Aaron Rodgers? So he leaves the Green Bay Packers and goes and hosts Jeopardy.
He's wearing man buns. What else you got to know?
All right, so we need Brady to have a nervous breakdown due to Giselle leaving him.
Right.
We need the McVay's girlfriend to go cheat on him, maybe bang one of the players. He has to have a nervous breakdown. We have Aaron Rodgers fall off a cliff, as Kellerman said about Brady. So that's 3.
And Sam Darnold.
There's no other good quarterback in the NFC?
I'm trying to think of another team. Carolina's a vastly. They get it on defense.
They suffer injuries.
They hit you. They bang you.
J.C. Horn getting hurt sure hurt them on defense. But hey, listen. In the fairy tale world, maybe it happens. It would be interesting. Carolina covers the game last night. It stays under the postal total. There's a lot of college football actually going on tonight. Big Friday board. Wake Forest goes over to Virginia. That should be a really good game, actually. Middle Tennessee State and Charlotte playing tonight. Let me give you the lines. I'll give you the rundown. Charlotte -3, total 56. Virginia -3.5 at home against Wake. Total is 70. That's
that might be a football, basketball with cleats.
Here's how far Syracuse has fallen off, man. They lost to Liberty last year, and now they're underdogs to the +7 at home. Liberty is a favorite over Syracuse. Total's 53.5. Syracuse sucks. And UNLV and Fresno State. Fresno State off the big win against UCLA. Now they're laying 30.5. That seems like a sucker trap bet, right? That seems like a game they win by 28. And they have a shot to score at the end, like Appalachian State had a shot to score at the end last night, just decided to nail it.
Or you get that backdoor.
The backdoor cover when you're up 35 and you don't even try. You got all the scrubs in the game. So that's the Friday rundown. It's some big baseball. Yankees, Red Sox is a big series. Yes, I am a Yankees fan, so I'm interested in that series. Obviously, the Toronto Twins series, that's a big series.
Man, that team hits. Last night. Do they hit the ball or what, that team?
Yeah, they
listen, if they get just a little bit of pitching and they get into the playoffs, who wants to face that team? They got 6 or 7 guys that got like 80 RBIs on that team. I mean,
they're a good team.
Listen, we were talking about a month ago, and everybody, when I said I think Guerrero's got a shot to be the MVP of the league, and no, it's going to be Ohtani, and I said, I don't know this. I mean, he leads the league in homers. Leads the league in batting average. Leads the league in hits. If they make the playoffs,
you mentioned that to me on a golf course a couple weeks. I told you were an idiot.
But not now. He's surging right now.
He might be. If they make it to the playoffs, you can. That's a fair argument. You can give it to him. But yeah, baseball gets interesting right now. A lot of big favorites, but you get those games like Yankees, Red Sox, and teams that are fighting for a playoff berth. The Cardinals are red hot right now. So, that stuff's going on in baseball. But look, it's a football weekend. We're going to get free picks. You go to takingvegas.com right now. Get a free pick over there on the Wake Forest Virginia game for Friday night. I'm going to give you a bunch of free picks here. I did Salisbury show again this morning. KBME Sports Talk 790 in Houston. We gave out 6 free picks, so I'll get you guys those. Plus, if you want to visit us on social media, go to Instagram. Follow us at Taking Vegas. DM us the word free. The social media team gives you 7 straight days of free picks. That's all the free stuff. Richie Tulo, your game for the weekend is not free. So we're going to say that right off the bat. Now, in fairness, you lost your last game.
I am human.
We had no problem admitting that. When you win, we put it on your website, syndicatedplayersclub.com. You lost last week under Seattle, Tennessee. That game kind of got away late. And it went into overtime, although the game was already over. But you can't win them all. You had won 7 straight. You're off a loss, and now you got a game going this weekend that you absolutely love.
Folks, all I can say is this. For the last 20 months, we've been told what to and not to do, I would say, on and off, nonstop. I think we're in agreement with that, right, Chris?
We are.
The one thing we haven't been told, and especially our listeners out there that listen to this podcast in earnest, is that they can't stop losing as far as betting on their own. Okay, folks, I'm telling you something right now. That stops here. Here and now it stops because you got to listen to us, get involved with us. There's nobody in the game who can talk better, whether it's on radio, television, whatever, than the guy over there, Chris. I mean, he's as sharp as there is. His information, his insiders are as good as that there are. And, he's got contacts and resources all over the place. I mean, all over the place. And as far as my information goes, I deal strictly with Vegas steam, and I got other places that I get my steam from that I really wouldn't rather even share with you because it wouldn't make me as unique as I am at this point. But I do know one thing. I'll recover. Last week was, we hit a pothole, and we can't win them all.
Can't win them all. It is what it is.
Superman, he got humbled every so often with kryptonite, so I had my kryptonite last week. But I think we'll be okay.
Common misconception a lot of people make in this business is when they come on, they invest their money, they expect to win every game.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. And when you invest in a stock, and I consider investing in a sporting event the same thing as investing in a stock, sometimes that stock goes down to start. And you'll put $10,000 in a stock, and next thing you know, you have $8,200. So you're down some money. And then 2 weeks will go by, and all of a sudden you have $11,300, and you're up. Sports wagering is absolutely no different. You are not going to win every game. No one associated with our organization, whether it be the radio show, the podcast, the website, has ever said we win every game. Those words have never come out of anyone's mouth. What we happen to do is show you guys how to wager correctly and take advantage of the games that do hit. So when you win 7 in a row, you could bury a loser.
Well, I'm of the philosophy, I'm an old school guy, and my philosophy is if you're going to get involved with me or anybody else that's worth their salt, I would tell you point blank, I live by this motto, which is in for a penny, in for a pound. And what that means is you got to be in from day one and you got to be in for the long haul. If you do that.
Jump in with 2 feet.
Yeah.
Just jump in, man.
I mean, listen, we expect everybody. We expect everybody because, let's be in agreement here. It is it's a leap of faith to do this if you're going to do it the right way and, substantially the right way because it's untold money. But, we can't, as good as our information is, and how many times do we say to people, even when our game loses, and there's very few guys like us when we talking about losers, but I would still, and I don't care if that team got their ass kicked by 30 points, I would still give you the same game tomorrow because I'm bought into the fact that my information is as good as there is, and I'm a man of conviction, and I don't mind. Even when and I'll tell, and people will say to me, they go, Richie, how could you make a comment like that? We just lost a game by 30 points. Well, here's the deal. When I win a game by 30 or 40 points, I'm still going to have the same approach and the same method that I had even when I lost the game.
So we're talking about like when you lose, right? And that doesn't really happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
Your record this year is off the charts.
You can't apologize for losing.
Right.
We win way too much.
It's all documented at syndicatedplayersclub.com. And for those of you who out there might not believe it, he just put up a loser on the under in the Tennessee-Seattle game. So, but when you go look at syndicatedplayersclub.com, you'll see a 42-12-2 record in 2021.
My record since May 1st has been
30 games over 500 for the year. If you can't make money on that, we can't help you. So, Richie has a big play going this weekend. Go visit syndicatedplayersclub.com. You can call him at 702-550-0934. That's the private line, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's your private line, 702-550-0934. Over to the weekend. Like I said, I did Salisbury show this morning. We give out 6 free picks, so I'll get you those right now. So my free picks on the show were Notre Dame plus 5.5. Now, we have a little bit of a discrepancy there because Sean went opposite me, and that's fine. That's the competition. I personally do not believe Wisconsin is a good football team. I think Notre Dame has better athletes. The guy from Wisconsin hasn't thrown a touchdown pass all year. How the hell are you going to lay 5.5 or 6 with that?
I'll tell you one thing that's a little tricky about that, and I read something the other day, which is it's one of the most unique situations I think I've ever seen in college football. Notre Dame will play 6 opponents this year who come off bye weeks.
That's pretty tough.
So they are playing Wisconsin, who comes off a bye.
But it's early, though.
Yeah, it's early, but as the season progresses, even if you're playing an also-ran team, you give any team an opportunity to heal all their wounds and, to scout an extra week. It's a kind of a big edge.
It gives them an advantage. This game isn't played at Wisconsin,
but
it's
six
played in Chicago.
Six times, Chris. That's kind of unique.
That's a lot. I like Notre Dame plus 5.5. I also gave out the Patriots minus 2.5 against the Saints, and I gave out the Rams the Rams plus 1 against Tampa Bay. I don't think the Saints are playing their 3rd straight road game right now.
Let me ask you a question about the Saints.
By the way, before you get to that, just so I clarify, they had a home game in week 1. But it got played at Jacksonville.
Right, because of the weather.
Then last week they're at Carolina. Now this week they're at New England. So that's 3 straight road games for them. Well, obviously the unfortunate travel with Hurricane Ida. We'll get to your point. What was it now?
Do you think Jameis Winston, even though that first week that he threw the 5 touchdown passes and had less than 150 yards, was that week an aberration, or is the real Jameis Winston, is he rearing that ugly head again where he's just going to be throwing the ball to just about anybody in New Jersey?
I mean, he's got talent. But I want to put him in the top 20 as far as quarterbacks go.
And they did lose their quarterback coach from last year, Lombardi.
Yeah,
he's at San Diego now, or not San Diego, the Chargers.
Yeah. Las Vegas Raiders. It doesn't sound right, right? The Los Angeles Chargers don't sound right. It is what it is. But my 3 free picks on Salisbury show this morning was Notre Dame, the Patriots, and the Rams. Salisbury went against me with Notre Dame. He has Wisconsin. He went with the over 61.5. Texas Tech and Texas, and he went with Seattle over Minnesota. So
they had a little bit of a meltdown last week for sure.
I was on San Diego last night. I gave them like a free, just a bonus pick. I liked Michigan State. I think Nebraska's terrible. You know what? The guy Frost is being exposed as a fraud. When he coached at UCF, what was happening was he was getting the leftovers from Miami, Florida, FSU. He was getting some really, really good athletes.
Well, it's a lot easier to recruit in the state of Florida than it is in the state of Nebraska.
Correct, but he also wasn't playing the greatest competition. So what was happening was he was getting great athletes, and he wasn't playing great competition. Now it's flipped. Now you're not getting great athletes, okay? In comparison to the rest of the Big Ten, right? He was getting great athletes compared to the teams he was playing. Now that's not the case. If you're in the Big Ten, where are you going? Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State. Nebraska's not what it once was.
No.
It's just not. And for all you guys in Nebraska or the Midwest that get offended by it, please don't. I'm not saying it to offend you. It's just not. Nebraska isn't what it was.
Well, they're not a Big Ten. Listen, they were never a Big Ten school. They were a Big 12 school, and it was a different.
Correct.
It was a different mindset all those years. You got to remember something. Living in the state of Florida, being a coach in the state of Florida, being a coach in the state of Texas, or even California, the opportunities to find so many blue chippers to play in those states is so much greater. Number one, the kids are playing 12 months a year. I mean, the weather is conducive to them training. You know, the kids in the Northeast, the kids in, the far West and the Midwest, they don't play their sport 12 months a year. They play other sports during the course of their high school careers.
Nebraska's in a really tough spot, like geographically.
Exactly.
They're in a really tough spot because if you're going to go play in the Big Ten, right, if you're an athlete and your dream is to play in the Big Ten, you're probably, like I just mentioned, you're probably trying Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, one of those type of schools.
Right.
Now, if you want to go south, right, where do you go? Yeah. Oklahoma, Texas, Bama, So, I mean, Auburn, one of those. So they're in like a tough spot geographically, So it's just, they're not what they were. And it's a shame because when Nebraska is good, it's fun. But I think Frost is in over his head.
Listen, Tom Osborne walked on water there for years.
He won.
I mean, he ran for a political position. He had the highest winning percentage of any candidate ever in the state.
He won.
When
you win,
it's
you
easy.
Get to do that.
It's easy.
That's why they're still that. Just changing topic. That's why they're not killing Belichick. Because Brady won last year and Belichick didn't make the playoffs, but Belichick has won. So he kind of gets that okay, let's see, right? Frost doesn't have that built up. And there's a lot of college coaches that don't have that built up. A lot of NFL coaches that don't have that built up.
Well, and talking about Belichick, remember one thing about Belichick. Parcells won, and when the Giants would never win, and he got them to win again. And what was the comment they used to say? He never won without Belichick.
Right.
So now Belichick, if Belichick doesn't win without Brady,
that's fair.
And especially this year,
it's fair.
Does that tarnish his career a little bit?
If Brady wins the Super Bowl again this year,
forget
it. You could start looking at it. It was like it wasn't never Belichick, it was Brady. Because remember, I know that the Mo Lewis hit was 20 years ago yesterday, I believe.
And we said that, Belichick's main objective right now, granted he wants to win, but he wants to become the all-time winningest coach in NFL history.
Right, but look, you didn't win in Cleveland. You didn't win before Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Brady came in, you started to win. You basically treated him like shit. That's what his trainer just said. You never evolved, right? He said that yesterday. You kept treating him like he was in his 20s. The guy's a grown man in his 40s. What the hell are you doing? And now that guy leaves, who's the greatest quarterback in the history of the game. Yes, better than Montana. Yes, better than Manning. Yes, better than anyone who's ever done it. Okay? He goes to Tampa Bay. That's never won. They won title. Everything that could go wrong has always went wrong. They're like Tampa. They're like the New York Jets South. Right? Everything that could have gone wrong goes, and he goes there and he wins. So to me, if he wins again this year, it was Brady.
And he said,
it wasn't Belichick.
And what did he say last week? He wants to play till he's 50.
Yeah, if he does that,
that's a football player. George Blanda was did George Blanda play till he was 50? But he was a place kicker.
Yeah, he was a kicker. He don't count.
But he was a quarterback.
Vinatieri, same way.
He played quarterback for 20 years, though.
So we got some other stuff going on here. Again, we do this podcast. It's Friday. We didn't get a chance to do a podcast this week because stuff happened. So going a little bit longer today. SyndicatedPlayersClub.com has Richie Tulo's big play available for the weekend. TakingVegas.com has a free pick on the Wake Forest, Virginia game tonight. And you can also visit us on Instagram. Follow us at Taking Vegas. DM us the word free, and the social media team will get you guys 7 days worth of free picks. Let's just do a quick rundown.
Yeah,
of the
let's
NFL,
do some games. Come on.
Quick rundown of the NFL board. Arizona at Jacksonville. Arizona minus 7.5. Total 51.5. If I'm going to lean any which way in that game, obviously I'm leaning Arizona. But it's one of those games that looks too easy. You know, and in the NFL, it's never easy. But I'm telling you guys right now, you are not ever getting me to put my money. There's a few teams in the NFL I would never put my money on until they prove they can win. Jacksonville's one of those teams.
Jacksonville is on palpitation alert right now with, Urban Meyer.
Yeah, they're already talking about USC. That only took 1 week. Colts and Titans. Colts are questionable at quarterback right now. Colts are 0-2. Tennessee 1-1. Tennessee off a big come-from-behind win against Seattle. They really needed that one.
Scary game there.
-5.
Well, scary game for one reason. Desperation is usually pretty good barometer, and
Indianapolis is desperate.
Could be a desperate game.
Yeah, Indianapolis is desperate.
Could be a desperate game.
That could be like a 3-point game. Total is 48 there. Baltimore -8 at Detroit. See what I just said about Jacksonville? There's a couple teams I will not bet. Well, Detroit falls into that category. I'm not, and Detroit's off the short week, and Baltimore is off a game they needed to win. Like, they needed that game versus Kansas City just to get that monkey off their back and say we can actually beat them. Jackson could say I could actually beat Mahomes. So, but now Baltimore goes on the road indoors -8. Total is 50 at Detroit. Washington at Buffalo. Both teams come in 1-1. Washington has an extended break, but look, Washington should have lost to New York. Like, they really had no business winning that game.
I thought they would have took. Listen, one thing about Washington defensively, Ryan Kerrigan is a big miss for them. He was there. I mean, he was a stalwart. You know, that guy's played more games. I was reading this last week. He's played more games at left linebacker than anybody in NFL history.
Yeah, and you don't even know his name.
Yeah. And he's
crazy.
got almost 100 sacks in his career.
Buffalo -7.5 they just destroyed Miami last week. Again, Washington played Thursday night, so they get a little bit of an extended break, but they had no business beating New York, so they're kind of lucky to be 1-1. Total 45.5. New Orleans and New England, I spoke about. I gave out on Salisbury show this morning. I gave out New England for free, -2.5 over the Saints. Total's 42.5, so we don't have to speak about that. L.A. Chargers at the Chiefs. Interesting game.
Interesting.
L.A. really did not play well against Dallas last week.
Listen,
they didn't look good.
They didn't play well against. They were very ordinary against Washington on week 1.
Yep. And Kansas City, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I can't imagine Kansas City starting the season 1-2, right? We never thought that would happen. And they generally come back after losses.
I think they're missing a little something this year. Offensive line.
High on this. Offensive line is supposed to be great for them this year.
But they're young, and they got to gel. It might take them time to gel. But defensively, they can't stop nobody.
And that's why the total's so high, 54.5. Chiefs favored by 6.5. Forget this game. This is a garbage game. I mean, again, these two teams, you can't bet it either which way. Atlanta at New York. This is what it takes for New York to be favored in a game, to play Atlanta. And they're favored by 3, you know?
And they'll be sold out week in and week out.
But the people will leave. I told you, I went to the game against Denver. I left at the end of the third quarter because it was such bad football on both sides. It was just a terrible football game to watch. I was in traffic getting out of the stadium. That's how many people left that game after the third quarter. I couldn't believe it. I was with my son. I'm like, let's get out of here. And we're in traffic anyway.
Gettleman C can't get any hotter.
Yeah, he sucks. New York -3, total 47.5. Chicago at Cleveland. Justin Fields making his first career start. That's been the topic of much discussion on the television shows this week, especially when they have Nick Foles there. But, you know, Matt Nagy, you tell him, I don't think Justin Fields is ready.
He's not.
That's what no. This is what he's saying, not what I'm saying. He said, I don't feel Justin Fields is ready. He said that earlier in the season. And now Dalton gets hurt and you throw the guy in. So you're an idiot. Basically is what you're saying. Because if you don't think he's ready, why wouldn't you start Foles?
How much does Foles make? Foles got to be making $3-4 million a year, right?
The greatest job in the world. Cleveland -7, total 45.5. 2 more 1-1 teams. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh off a bad loss. And they got Roethlisberger got hurt. Watt got hurt. Everything that could have went wrong for Pittsburgh went wrong, yet they're still favored because they're playing Cincinnati.
Did Watt sign that contract last week?
Yeah,
he did sign it.
Yep. Total in this game is 43. Pittsburgh -3. Miami's in all worlds of problems, too. You know, they won that game against New England. All was good. That's how fast it happens in the NFL. Tua gets hurt. He breaks his ribs, and all hell breaks loose for them. They get blown out by Buffalo, and now they're getting 4 at Las Vegas. I wonder how these NFL players are doing going to Las Vegas. I wonder how that's going. Here you go. See Jacksonville and see Detroit. And you can see Atlanta and you can see the other New York team. I will never, ever, 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 ever put money on the New York Jets. You could give me 30 points with the Jets. They would find a way to lose by 31. I'm not ever putting good money on a bad team.
Denver can play some D this year. They can definitely play.
I'm not saying Denver's going to win this game by 11 to cover the spread because I just don't know what Denver is just yet. Because they played. Let's not give Denver's 2-0, but they played the Giants and they played the Jaguars.
What is Chubb listed as out this week, or is he going to play?
I haven't seen that injury report yet. They usually don't come out until tomorrow in terms of that. But I'm off the game either which way.
Completely different defense with him in there.
Tampa Bay at L.A.
Good game.
Great game. I gave out the Rams on Salisbury's show. I think Tampa Bay is going to struggle. I think Tampa Bay, the Rams can get pressure with four rushers.
And rumors are Richard Sherman's
might go to Tampa Bay like everyone else.
Might go to Tampa Bay.
Seattle at Minnesota. Salisbury gave out Seattle in this game. He likes that. -2. Total that's 55. Wow, that's a high total. 55 points for Seattle and Minnesota, huh? The Sunday night game is Green Bay at 49ers. That's a good Sunday night game. Total is 50. And San Francisco's -3.5. And,
I got a feeling Minnesota's going to be the biggest overs this football season.
They can run, they can throw, and they can't stop anyone. So that could. Well, I don't know how much they could throw.
And they play indoors. So they're going to be a big over team this year.
All right, so guys, going to wrap this thing up right now. Go to Syndicated Players Club right now. Richie Tulo has a monster release going in football this week. It's an insider release. Get that. It's at syndicatedplayersclub.com. You want some free picks, go over to takingvegas.com. You can also give us a call at 888-WIN-8020. We'll have 3 free picks for Saturday, 3 free picks for Sunday on a recorded message. And if you want some social media free picks on Instagram, just follow us at takingvegas. DM us the word free, and the social media team will take care of you with 7 straight days of free picks. That's going to wrap up the Friday podcast. We hope to be back on Monday. Hope there's no COVID going around or any other nonsense. Enjoy the weekend, everyone, and make some money. Have a great day.